It'll be Seattle basketball.
Lexi Hull, it's always good to see the Washington State native back, the Central Valley two-time state.
Done a good job is defending the points in the paint. And speaking of points in the paint, there's a couple for Skylar Diggins right there.
Can limit Caitlin to today.
Well, you get that. Caitlin Clark 1 for her last 17 from 3. You know that's not going to last very long, but it'll be a fascinating. Fans on their feet, 18,000 strong here. A sold-out crowd at Climate Pledge Arena. Dumping it low, Aaliyah Boston gets great.
60%.
Tight defense up top by both Lexi Hull and Kelsey Mitchell. Good backdoor cut and a dime toss. Backdoor cutting to Wheeler, but it's turned over. 2-on-1 the other way. Caitlin Clark going right in at Diggins, who attempts the block.
They are at home. They average just a tick. She is little at 5'9". She can get up and block shots.
1 on the shot clock for Necken. Why not? Gabby closes out on her. Now spins on Ezzy. Nicely done in Boston. Clark against Gabby Williams. Bounce pass Howard right into the hands of Skylar Diggins. Diggins, the big 1-2 Euro step in the lane and scores with the off.
Indiana Fever last year, but boy, was she carbon just fit for here in Seattle.
No question. Natasha Howard goes up against Ezzy. That shot was altered, if not blocked, but
verified air there with the 3 titles. Boy, was she good when she was here in Seattle.
Oh, the nice curl cut by Gabby goes right to the window and late getting there.
And a foul.
Yes.
For Gabby Williams, a 3-point opportunity.
She only has 21 free throws this season, but it's actually more than she had last season, so she really didn't get the calls last year. As he has it topside. And off Gabby Williams through contact again, and the whistles are coming for Chief Dub tonight. How about that?
Back-to-back 3-point opportunities for Gabby Williams. Green taking the contact, absorbing it, scoring in.
Seattle Storm players with legitimate, extremely legitimate chances of going to the ult. Boston makes the first. Fans on their feet waving the white towels behind. And Seattle on the run once again. Indiana 12 back after this.
That happened a few times in practice last year, I bet.
Here's Ezzy inside, trying to get 2 more points in the paint, and she will.
Such a hard time this year getting calls, and they didn't disrupt her shooting motion.
Seattle last in the league in free throws here in the first quarter, no question about it.
Seattle's defense is just hounding her.
3, that one's off the mark. Dantas, an offensive rebound. She goes up with it and scores and 1. Boy, we've had a lot of and 1 situations on both ends.
Yeah, and for Dantas, the 6'3".
The action against the Connecticut Sun on Ion at 7 o'clock. You saw Dom Malonga.
It's been a really strong group.
Saya Cook in as well for Seattle. Wheeler, hook pass inside. Good high catch by Malonga. The touch is so nice from Dom Malonga.
She's not balanced on that and somehow still ball high.
Dantas against Malonga, giving a little bit of room. Trying to block that shot. At least alters it, but nice shot by Dantas.
Leaning in with the shoulder, creating some room, and that's a pretty easy shot in the lane.
Malonga high-low inside the AC. And no basket. Alicia Clark, as Seattle is in the bonus. Knocks down the first. Both.
Which lineup fits better? The energy is hard not to bring.
And she will go to the foul line. An excellent free throw shooter. Lefty knocks it in.
Guard for the Fever, averaging 17 points per game.
Kelsey Mitchell had the record with the season of her career thus far, but as you mentioned, started a little cold last year.
The past 2 games, neither is Caitlin Clark. And as I mentioned, at home.
EECU Court, Climate Pledge Arena. Dick Fain along with Elise Woodward, where Seattle first quarter is the rookie, the 19-year-old. Impressive.
On a transition opportunity where there was nobody in front of her. So in the half-court sets, Seattle's defense has been very good. Cook right up into the eye. You hate that.
All there on the fadeaway. Mitchell will try her hand again, and this time knock it down. It's a foul.
Always take it up a notch. That offense leads to better defense.
Clark gets by Clark. Caitlin by Alicia, and sets up the 3-ball by Dantas, and that screen on a bigger body. Here's Cook driving in strong. Great take by Zaya. Still leads because of that rebound and second chance point differential, but An offensive foul going on is Ezi Magbagor. Feeds it back to Nneka. Fade away. That one's well short. Another rebound. Just pull the trigger from here. How about that? Don't need to drive. Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Mitchell goes by the defense and scores. Kelsey's planning a trip on a victory and get to 500 on the season. Seattle trying to win game number 7 out of 8. Oh, beautiful feed. Kick back. No. I thought for sure she was her target from Skylar Diggins to Nneka. That was incredible.
Well, and smart. You want to hit the player with the highest percentage shot, and that was most definitely Nneka.
Free throw from Cunningham's good. 2-point advantage for Indiana. Now first half here in front of a sold-out Climate Pledge Arena. Oh, Diggins all the way to the 10. That's a couple times now she's finished.
Composition. She wanted to be leaner, but also still strong and a bit more swift. And she also mentioned a lot of shooting. And
her complaint about the non-calls. Now it's Indiana complaining about the calls Gabby's getting.
Well, I think as long as it's going both ways, I think this, everybody can be happy. I know Indiana has complained.
Oh, she goes down and it's tied up.
If your feet get tangled.
What a showdown this was. An intense clash between the Seattle Storm and the Indiana Fever that had fans on the edge of their seats from the very first whistle. With playoff hopes tightening and rivalries heating up, both teams came into this matchup knowing how much was at stake. On one side, Seattle Storm brought their trademark defense and composure, led by their seasoned stars. On the other, Indiana Fever, energized by rising talents like Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston, looked determined to make a statement on their home court. This wasn't just another game on the schedule. It was a battle of momentum, grit, and pride. And what unfolded was a thrilling contest packed with high-speed plays, dramatic moments, and performances that demanded attention. The game tipped off with immediate intensity as both teams looked to set the tone early. Indiana Fever struck first, with Caitlin Clark pushing the tempo and creating scoring opportunities both inside and out. But Seattle Storm responded quickly, with Jewel Lloyd hitting an early three-pointer to even the score and silence the crowd momentarily. The pace was fast, and neither side was backing down. Each possession was hard-fought, with tight defense and quick ball movement on display. Aliyah Boston made her presence known in the paint, grabbing key rebounds and converting tough finishes under the rim. Meanwhile, Seattle leaned on their experience, keeping the offense fluid and finding gaps in the Fever's defense. As the quarter progressed, the lead exchanged hands several times, keeping the energy high. By the end of the first quarter, it was clear this was going to be a tightly contested game, with the scoreline reflecting just how evenly matched these teams were. As the second quarter began, the tempo didn't slow down. Seattle Storm's bench came in strong, providing a quick spark with aggressive defense and timely shooting. Ezi Magbagor made a big impact on both ends, blocking shots, altering drives, and finishing around the rim. Indiana Fever adjusted by tightening their perimeter defense and looking to create more fast-break opportunities. Caitlin Clark continued to orchestrate the offense, threading passes through tight windows and keeping the ball moving. Kelsey Mitchell also started to heat up, knocking down mid-range shots and helping the Fever stay in rhythm. Seattle tried to create separation midway through the quarter, going on a mini run, but Indiana responded with energy and resilience. With under 2 minutes left in the half, the momentum swung once again as the Fever forced a turnover and turned it into a crucial three-pointer to tie the game. The second quarter ended just as it began, fast, physical, and fiercely competitive, with both teams heading to the locker room nearly deadlocked on the scoreboard. At halftime, the score was neck and neck, reflecting the intense balance between these two hungry teams. Statistically, both sides had near-identical shooting percentages, with the Fever slightly edging out in rebounds, while the Storm held the advantage in assists. Caitlin Clark led Indiana with her all-around contributions, points, assists, and a few clutch plays that kept the offense alive. On Seattle's side, Jewel Lloyd's leadership and scoring touch were just as vital, especially in critical moments when the game threatened to slip. Defensively, both teams were locked in, rotations were sharp, closeouts were quick, and no possession was taken for granted. As the teams headed into the locker rooms, it was clear this game could go either way. The question now was who would make the better adjustments, who would come out with more urgency, and which star would rise when it mattered most in the second half. The third quarter began with a noticeable shift in intensity, as both teams came out with a renewed sense of urgency. Seattle Storm struck first, using quick ball movement to find open looks beyond the arc, and they capitalized, hitting back-to-back threes that gave them a slight edge. But Indiana wasn't rattled. Aliyah Boston continued to battle inside, securing key rebounds and drawing contact to get to the free throw line. Caitlin Clark, ever the playmaker, started picking apart the Storm's defense, creating open looks for teammates while also knocking down a deep three of her own. Seattle tried to push the pace, but Indiana's defense tightened, forcing turnovers and converting them into transition buckets. As the quarter wore on, tempers flared slightly with physical play on both ends, raising the emotional temperature of the game. The third quarter closed with the crowd fully engaged, both teams locked in, and the outcome still hanging in the balance. The fourth quarter was nothing short of electric. With the score tight and momentum swinging back and forth, every possession began to feel heavier. Seattle looked to their veterans to settle things down. Jill Lloyd hit a clutch jumper early in the quarter, followed by a tough drive from Sami Whitcomb that kept their offense alive. But Indiana had answers. Caitlin Clark, under pressure, delivered one of the biggest shots of the night with a deep three that sent the crowd into a frenzy. Aliyah Boston continued to dominate the boards and scored on a crucial putback that tied the game with under 5 minutes to play. The final stretch was intense: fouls, timeouts, and back-to-back shot clock battles. Both teams exchanged leads multiple times, with defense tightening and every shot contested. In the last 2 minutes, Indiana's composure began to shine. They forced a key turnover, then converted with a fast break finish that gave them the edge. Seattle tried to rally with a final push, but a missed three and solid free throw shooting by the Fever sealed the deal. It was a breathtaking finish to a game that lived up to the hype. As the final buzzer sounded, Indiana Fever emerged victorious in a hard-fought battle, edging out the Seattle Storm with a final score that reflected just how competitive the game had been from start to finish. It was a statement win for Indiana, one built on resilience, team chemistry, and clutch performances down the stretch. Caitlin Clark finished with an impressive stat line, showcasing her leadership and composure under pressure, while Aliyah Boston anchored the paint with dominance and poise. On the other side, Jill Lloyd led the Storm with her usual scoring brilliance, but it just wasn't enough to overcome the Fever's late-game surge. The energy, the grit, and the execution all came together for Indiana when it mattered most, earning them a well-deserved win in front of a roaring home crowd. This game was a clear reflection of growth for the Indiana Fever. Their ability to stay composed in crunch time, respond to every run, and execute under pressure showed how far they've come this season. Caitlin Clark not only delivered with her scoring and playmaking, but also showed maturity beyond her years in managing the game's pace and decision-making late in the fourth. Aliyah Boston's physical presence and defensive awareness made a huge difference, especially in limiting second-chance opportunities for the Storm. For Seattle, the loss wasn't due to a lack of effort. Jill Lloyd did everything she could to keep her team in it, and Ezi Magbega had key moments defensively, but lapses in transition defense and missed opportunities down the stretch proved costly. Statistically, the teams were neck and neck, but Indiana's ability to convert key possessions and stay disciplined in the final minutes gave them the edge. This win will no doubt give the Fever momentum heading into their next matchups, while the Storm will need to regroup and address their late-game execution. What a battle it was, two teams giving everything they had, but in the end, it was the Indiana Fever who rose to the occasion. From start to finish, this game delivered drama, intensity, and unforgettable moments that will be talked about for weeks. If you enjoyed the action, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more WNBA highlights and breakdowns. Let us know in the comments, who was your MVP of the night? Was it Caitlin Clark's leadership or Aliyah Boston's dominance in the paint? Or did someone from the Storm catch your attention with a clutch performance? We'll be back with more full game coverage, so don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the action. Until next time, this is WNBA basketball at its finest.